adding music to the templates so that you can save a template with music. So this is kind of nice because I've done this exactly for my show, right? This is how I added music here. So if I'm going to reveal the timeline, watch this. This is the intro of my show. This is what it looks like. I've got the hook in here with my logo on top there.
150 videos a year, public videos. And sometimes I like, this video is going to knock it out of the park. This is a great video.
You see, I changed the zoom a little bit. Now I'm going back.
I do about 100
start here.
video and no one cares about it. And then I'll make a
So you notice now the music starts to come in.
Video. And I'm like, this video is just dumb. I'm making it because one of my subscribers asked me to, or some friend. I heard someone saying they didn't know how to do this.
And I'm making the voice end where the music kicks off, where the music starts, right?
And that video takes off.
And now, before the voice comes in, I use the docking effect. It puts the music back down.
Hello, this is Christy. Welcome to the Media Makers Club podcast.
And then the music actually slowly fades over the first 30 seconds or so, right? So by the time I'm ending up in here, the music has ended, right? And that is how I do my intro. Of course, I use a lot of scenes in here because I have the camera changes and the little logos everywhere. And then I've got my lower thirds with my name on it. All these things added here. Plus I have this animation video here that I created in like 5 minutes. All these things are part of my intro. A lot of people ask, how do I take all this? You see all these elements that are part of my show and save them somehow so that I can apply them in a future episode. Now, I haven't actually saved these as templates, so I can do it with you now. You have to create a separate template for each one, for each segment, because Descript doesn't allow you to save a whole set of scenes as a template. So if I save a template of this intro, you see right there, the music actually starts before. You see the music file, intro music wave, is actually before that scene. It's a continuous clip, one piece of media, but the video is in here. So watch what happens now if I save this as a template. Let's say I want to save my animation as a template, right? So next time I want to assemble an episode, I'm going to just create a blank scene and apply that to it, that template with the intro animation, right? So you notice that my intro video, which is down here, is in scene number 4 and it is on a separate layer. It is not part of the bottom track, right? That's because I want to prevent the music from being ducked. And also I want to prevent, if I'm applying that where there's already text, I don't want to lose my video file. So the video file is a separate layer. That's important. The music file is also a separate layer. Watch what happens. If I go to scene number 4, I want to save that as an introduction animation, right? Let's call it intro animation, stinger animation, whatever you want to call it. I can right click on that scene and say, save to template. Watch this. So I'm going to create a new template. I'm going to create a new one and call it MMC podcast intro, right? I can rename this. It doesn't matter. Okay. And I am saving this as a separate template project. Click create. And it's asking me for a name for that particular segment. I'm going to call it intro animation. All right. And click add. And there you go. It is added that to a template. It's still creating it, as you can see down there. I don't know why it resized my screen, but anyway, it saved the layout. Click open. And what's going to happen here is it's probably going to open the project for me, but I don't want to do that. But I'm going to say, let me try and apply that. Let me show you how it works. So if I'm going to create a new piece of an episode in here, I'm just going to go somewhere and just say, let me just create like I'm pretending to be a new episode. Right click, duplicate to new composition, open that. So assuming this is a new episode, right? I've got the picture because I was saved. I'm just going to remove that. Here we go. That's my episode, right? So I want to add now my intro animation. This is how it comes in from the template, right? So I'm going to go at the top and say right click, add scene above. I'm creating a blank scene above this one. and I'm going to apply that intro animation to it. Right click, and I can't do it anymore. It used to be possible to do it there, I think, but now you have to go to position yourself inside of that scene, then go to scene on the right-hand side, and at the top here it says choose template. Click on this. There's my intro animation. You see the preview of that. I'm going to come out and show you where it is. I've got my Drive templates in here, and that should have shown up in here, but I think by default it makes it private. So I'm going to go to that and just find it really quickly. There it is. There's my intro animation. Put your mouse over it. That's the one you want. Click on it to apply it. And now it's applying that. You notice what happened here? The animation came in. Look at that. It's playing. But why did the music not come in? That's because the music file was part of a different scene. And although the music was playing in this scene that I saved, let's go back to the main episode for a second. You see down here, this is something that a lot of people don't understand. If you look down here, the music file is playing throughout my animation, but the music file actually starts before that. And that's why the music was not saved as part of the template, okay? If I want my music to be part of this template, or maybe an introduction template, let's call this one, right? The one where I have my logo in it and the music. I want to save this one. I can, of course, expand it and move it and change it when I get the actual content in, because every episode has a different length of a hook. Shorter, longer, whatever. So then you still have to have the ability to save and retrieve that template, but then adjust it. That's fine. But watch this. If I want to save my music file with my intro animation, I have to do this. I have to grab this music file and push it all the way to that scene. Right there. You see? Now the music actually starts here. It doesn't matter where the music ends, because Descript is going to save the complete file in the template anyway. So let's see. I'm going to position myself again in the same scene. Now the music actually starts in that scene. You see right there. And I'm going to go and save that again. Right click, save to template. I'm going to actually create a new project again. Create new template. Let's call this one MMC Podcast Intro with Music. There you go. I'm going to make it share with Drive by default so that I can have access to it in my Drive. And there you go. Create. And let's call this one Intro with Music. Again, the scene, you can rename it. Click Add. There you go. Now this creates a completely new Descript template project. And let's see what happens. All right. Layout saved. I'm just going to go back to the other one here. All right. That's the same one. I'm going to delete that scene, by the way. Delete that scene. Let's see now if the new template has the music in it. It should. If it doesn't, then there's a bug or something. Here we go. That's the template. It's black now. Let's go to Scene, choose Template. There it is, Intro with Music. You don't hear the music on the preview. Click on that. And there you go. Now, my template has the music in there, right? So this is great because the music was anchored in that scene. When you save or copy anything in Descript, maybe you copy the text. You select the text in the transcript and you copy that. And if you have some images or other layers, shapes, titles, whatever you have on that same place, on that same text that you copied, it is important that if you want to copy those elements, they begin in that selection that you made. If you have a long file, just like here, you have a long music that starts at the beginning of your episode, but then you're copying something from like 3 minutes in, it is likely it's not going to bring that music, even though it is in there and playing above, because it doesn't actually start in that portion, in that selection range you made. So this is a very interesting distinction because you're surprised, like, I want to save a template, the music was there, but it doesn't save the music. But this time, look, it saved the music and it brought it in as part of my template. So now, if I have a hook that I want to play music over, That's fine, because I can bring that in. I can go and right click and add a new scene above the intro. You see, I've got a new blank scene in here. And I'm going to go and bring some, let's say I'm going to bring some hook content, right? So I'm going to rename this. Let me put this on side by side. I'm going to rename this one intro test, right? And then go to the project and select another portion from somewhere. Doesn't matter where. Let's suppose this is my hook right here. I'm going to copy this, go back to my intro test, go in that first scene, not files, go into that first scene and paste it. So there's the hook, okay? You see the scene has been reset because you bring in and it doesn't know what to do with it. Never mind. I'm just going to delete all of the elements right there, put that full screen. There you go. So that's my hook, right? At the end of the hook, the music starts and the intro comes in. Watch this. All right. Well, I want the music now to start earlier. All you do is go down here in the timeline, grab the beginning of that music file and extend it before the scene that you added from your templates. So that is really powerful because the position of the music file was maintained at that point. So watch this. You can notice the music, the part where the music swells up is in the same place because that was the beginning of the intro scene where the music was saved. But now I'm extending the music back, which keeps the music in the same place and reveals the beginning of the music file over my hook. And I can maybe fade that in if I want to. And watch this. This is my hook plus intro that I brought in the music and an intro animation all from a template.
2, 3, 4, 5. So
Sorry.
in August, I went over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. And the other adjustment you may have to do is at the end because Descript actually created that template scene to fit the music file. That was the length of it. However, my intro just stops here. So all you need to do is grab this clip at the bottom, which is your gap clip, and bring that in like this. Here we go. And it matches the end of your intro right there. You see? And now, of course, the music also gets cut off. You have to grab the music and extend the end of the music back out, outside of that scene, and then make that fade out. The fade out was actually saved. You can see it right there. There's the dot with the fade out. All I need is I want to extend that after the intro, like that. So the fade out was saved. The position of the music was saved. The length of the scene was extended to fit the music, but we only needed to fit the video. And now with one click, I actually brought this template into a blank scene and I extended both ends, the beginning over my hook and the ending to fade in over my intro. That is how you bring in a template in Descript for your show. And by the way, if you don't care for video, if your show is audio only, you can still take advantage of this because all you need to do is when you save your templates with your intro music, your outro music, whatever you're trying to save as a template, just change your composition to video temporarily. I know Descript is aware of the fact that people want to use templates for audio too, to bring in their music that they always use, their introduction of the show that they always use, the outro, maybe some mid-roll ads, promotion, whatever. So those may be just audio. But because the templates and the scenes only work for video projects, it seems like you can't, but you can. Just convert your audio compositions to video, do your stuff, save those as templates with video on. Then you bring those into your new projects, which also should be video, but audio only. And that will bring all your music stuff, all your music files, everything you want to use. And then when you export, you're exporting audio anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So that's a bit of a workaround if you're struggling to get some content in there for template for reuse. I know this is a very popular request. A lot of people are asking, can we not save some of the files and audio and music that we use all the time in some special place in Descript where I can pull them up really quickly when I create a new episode? Well, this is how you do it. You create templates, you save them there, pretend they're video, and you apply them. So there you go. That's how you do it.